Welcome back to the Chaudron Effect, Episode 4. I'm your host, Mike Chaudron, coming to you from Chaudron & Sons Farm in Limestone, Tennessee. Today's episode is about responsibility and how responsibility changes everything. A lot of people want authority. They want titles, promotions, influence, importance. I know, because it's exactly what I did. Fewer people understand what responsibility actually feels like. The old adage, be careful what you wish for, applies here more than people realize. Leadership changes the moment someone else pays the price for your decisions. That's when it stops being theoretical and becomes very real very fast. Authority and responsibility are often confused, but they're not the same. Authority is given. Responsibility is assumed. Authority can be exciting. Responsibility is sobering. Authority comes with visibility. Responsibility comes with consequences for yourself and the people around you. Early in a career, it's easy to chase authority. It feels like progress. It feels like recognition. But responsibility is different. Responsibility shows up quietly, usually when something else goes wrong and there's no one else to point to. Most leaders remember the first time responsibility became real. It might have been the first time a decision affected someone's livelihood. For me, it was the first time I had to terminate someone for performance. Performance I was responsible for. Performance that didn't happen. Coaching that didn't take. And it was gut-wrenching. Because up until then, leadership still felt a little abstract. But in that moment, it got very real, very fast. You quickly realize that your decisions, actions, coaching, and leadership don't just affect outcomes. They affect people, their families, their confidence, their sense of security. That's when leadership stops being about you. Somewhere along the way, I learned this rule the hard way. Take the praise, take the blame, and don't make excuses. That rule didn't come from a book. It came from experience, from consequences. Responsibility doesn't care how good your intentions were. It only cares who owns the outcome. If you take responsibility seriously, it changes you. It slows you down. Not because you're hesitant, but because you're thoughtful. It forces trade-offs because you realize you can't have everything. And it makes silence heavier than words. Because you know when something doesn't need to be said. It also gets lonely. Because at the end of the day, ownership doesn't get delegated. Responsibility sharpens judgment. It strips away ego and replaces confidence with humility. Some people never make this adjustment, and that's okay. They want authority without responsibility. They hide behind process. They escalate decisions upward. They explain instead of owning. I heard a good example recently. A senior leader told a supervisor that one of the supervisor's direct reports had made a serious mistake. It would have been easy for the supervisor to let the blame land there. But instead, the supervisor said, "Hang on, This is on me, not the employee. I didn't develop this person to the point where they could do what was required. That takes courage. It also takes strong leadership from above that supervisor, a culture where it's safe to own mistakes, learn from them, and move forward. Real leaders don't look for someone else to carry the weight. They carry it, even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable. Responsibility changes how you lead. It changes how you listen. It changes how you decide. It changes how you speak. It also changes how you measure success. Success stops being about wins and starts being about stewardship. Once responsibility shows up, leadership stops being theoretical. It becomes real. That was one of the hardest parts of leadership for me to reflect on, because responsibility doesn't lend itself to clean stories. It's rarely neat, and it's never painless. Responsibility is the price of leadership. If you accept it, it will shape you. If you avoid it, it will expose you. Take the praise, take the blame, and don't make excuses. That's where leadership actually begins. Thanks for spending this time with me on the Chaudron Effect. We'll continue one conversation at a time.